Hey everyone, it's Nick back again with another youth talk. This time I'm going to be talking a little bit about self care and a couple few easy things that you can do to kind of help with your mental health throughout the day and kind of just help keep yourself focused and properly stimulate your mental senses. And the first thing I have for when it comes to self care is exercising. Exercising um, is a very accessible way to kind of help take your mind off of things, help relieve stress, and also just help you build up physical health. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. Like you can go to like a gym and do it. You can get a gym membership. You can do it. You can exercise through like lifting weights, that kind of stuff. There's also a lot of easy ways to exercise at home. Online, you can find a lot of different simple like daily exercise routines where it might be like do X amount of push-ups, X amount of sit-ups, X amount of this exercise in the morning. And it can really just kind of help you get into a mental routine every day of doing these things. As well as running is a great way to exercise, especially if you have a nice area for it. Walking as well. Me, because of my ADHD and my autism, I have sometimes I have a really hard time focusing. If there's a lot of stuff on my mind, or if I'm like hyper fixating on something, I'll go outside into my yard with my dog, and I'll take my dog for a walk, and we'll just walk around the neighborhood, or we'll just walk around out in the backyard, and I can do that, and I can think about, like if I have a hyperfixation on something, I can think about that, and also exercise, and exercising helps me kind of stimulate and get out all that excess energy that's keeping me distracted from what I'm doing, and then I can, after I'm done exercising, then I can go back and do whatever it was I was doing beforehand. So exercise is a really good way to take care of your mental health and kind of help you remain focused, as well as just building up your physical health. Also, listening to music is a great way to take with your mental health. I listen to a lot of music. I listen to music all the time, especially when I'm outside when I'm exercising. I know a lot of people listen to music when they exercise because it kind of helps you kind of get through that exercising process and helps you. It can kind of help you with your rotation if you have certain music you listen to, and you can associate music with doing certain tasks. So it kind of like gets your brain chemistry in a rhythm where you're able to um, do what it is you need to do to a certain rhythm with the music you're listening to, and also just listening to music is always just a nice way to relax. Like I said, I listen to music all the time, especially when I'm outside. It helps me stimulate myself when I'm outside and I'm trying to get something off of my mind, or I'm trying to not focus on something too much. I'll go and listen to music while I exercise, and it helps me calm down. It distracts my mind, helps me kind of revert my brain chemicals and kind of get myself back to where I can start over on whatever it is that has me stressed out and kind of try to approach it differently. It gives me time to think. It helps me not think about what it is that's frustrating me as much, so I can kind of look at it from another angle and kind of resolve it differently. Journaling is another good way for self-care and for your health. If again, like if there's something that's really bothering you or something that has you really stressed out, writing about it, or also if you don't have anything that's stressing you out or nothing that's really bothering you, just kind of writing about your day and keeping track of your daily stuff, um, it's really good because it kind of helps you, kind of like what I mentioned earlier when it comes to like exercising and getting into the rhythm of things. When you write down kind of what you've been doing throughout the day, you kind of it makes you have to go back and kind of think about everything you've done that day, and kind of it makes you put it all out. So it helps to kind of reaffirm it in your brain what you did. It can help you if there's things you learned or if there's something you did. It kind of helps you categorize that, and then you're able to later you can go back and look through your journal and you can read about those events or those things that you wrote about, and it can help you remember something if you forgot about something. If there's something you needed to do, it can help you remember to do that thing, or also remind you that you did do that thing and you don't need to do that thing again. And it can kind of help you very much keep that weekly rhythm going of just knowing where you are, knowing how you're doing. I journal myself. I write. I don't write a whole lot, but I try to write like a little bit a day. Even stuff that like even stuff that I necessarily haven't done that day. I write about short stories because I have a very overactive imagination. So I like to write out things if I think about something that I think is interesting. I'll just kind of write it out a little bit. It helps keep my brain going. It gives my brain activity. So yeah, so journaling is great if you like writing. You don't have to write about anything in particular. You can just write about anything. That's another good way to help to help keep you mentally healthy and help kind of stimulate your mind. Mindfulness is also important for your mental health because being able to do things like taking breathing exercises, doing yoga, or just having moments of just kind of quiet thought where you can just kind of just sit down and just take a deep breath and just relax. Not necessarily exercising, not necessarily listening to music or doing other things, just being able to kind of just sit down and just kind of just absorb the air around you and just be able to just kind of just think and just take deep breaths will go a very long way for mental health. I do breathing exercises myself whenever if I'm like really tired and I don't feel like going out and exercising or going for a walk. I'll just kind of sit down and I like to might be kind of weird, but I like to in the morning before I go into work, I'll sit down in my office with all the lights off and I'll just sit there and I won't have my phone open. I won't have any of my computer monitors turned on. I'll just sit in my dark office room and I'll just kind of like compress and I'll just kind of like let the first few minutes of the morning just kind of go through me and it helps me feel relaxed and it helps me kind of mentally get ready for my morning meetings that I have to attend. So mindfulness, being able to take a minute to just breathe, really good for the mental health. It's really great for, especially in the morning or even at night, like when you wake up in the morning, being able to take a minute just to breathe and just kind of think about what you have to do, or not even think at all, just be able to take a breath and just let the day kind of just start, not just rushing into it, giving the day a chance to go and just let it begin. Really great for mindfulness, really good for mental health. I really recommend just every now and then just stopping and just letting time just kind of pass for like a minute. And the very last thing I have for talking about self-care is nutrition. The things you eat, very important for your health, and not just your physical health, but your mental health. When there's that old sayings about eating brain food, it's not a metaphor. Eating really healthy food like fruits and things like that, they have things in them that are really good for your brain and can help you feel really refreshed. If you eat like a lot of chips or like beef jerky and kind of junk food all the time, it'll kind of make you might not realize it, but it'll kind of make you just feel in kind of like just a junky mood. You know, if you eat junk food, it kind of makes you feel junky. But if you eat like apples and things like that, at least for me, whatever I like eating apples. I eat apples all the time. Whenever I eat apples, I feel a lot more refreshed afterwards. There's something about it, like just that like that it just feels, it's hard to explain. It just feels really nutritious eating an apple, and it makes me just feel a lot better when I eat apples or when I eat oranges. I eat oranges literally all the time. I go to the store, I'll just buy like a pound or a couple pounds of like tangerines and I'll just eat them. I love tangerines. So like just being nutritious, eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and not eating so much junk food. Really good. It's really good for your mental health. Makes you feel really good. Makes me feel really good anyway. When I eat oranges, and apples, I feel really mentally well afterwards. That's all I have for this youth talk. Is just those 5 things. When it comes to self care, again, just think about those things. On our website, we also have an infographic. That's my self care plan, which is what I've kind of taken these tips from and talked about and elaborated myself personally. That infographic has those 5 things I talked about on it, and a little bit about them. I just took that and kind of went a little more in detail for each thing and shared some personal experiences. But you can find that infographic to my self-care plan on the KYSPIN website. There's also a lot of other resources that are related to some of the things I talked about. Like when it comes to nutrition, we have a Powtoon, it's a little animated video about grocery shopping, how to plan for your grocery shopping trip, the things you should buy when you go grocery shopping. So if you haven't started really taking care of your nutrition yet, that's a great place to start on shopping better and eating better is our grocery shopping Powtoon. We also have other resources and links that can connect you to other websites that have resources that relate to a lot of the things that I talked about in this youth talk. Also, if you're not really sure on where to start, or if you're having kind of trouble navigating the website, you can reach out to us. You can send us an email. You can send me an email with Nick at KYSPIN.com. And I can, if you just don't know where to start with your self care, you can send me an email there, and I can help you out, or we can figure out where to go from there. But again, on our website, we have a lot of other resources that all help with self care because self care is really important. But otherwise, if you have any questions or any concerns or just don't know where to start, you can email me again through nick at kyspin.com. But otherwise, that's all I have for this youth talk. So thanks for listening, and I will see you for the next one.